On a perfect 7 for 7 from the floor and a perfect 13 for 13 from the free throw line. What do I always say? Make your free throws, kids. They outscored the Longhorns 51-36 in the second half. And a tip of the cap to our Tim Doyle and Eric Casillas. Tim, before the game, told you to take Miami on the money line. At halftime, Eric Casillas told you to take Miami on the money line at better than 3-1. Value, that is knowledge in your mind, money in your pocket, and now Miami, who has spent a lot of money on NIL, is into the Final Four for the first time in school history. Get some instant analysis here with CBS Sports college basketball analyst Tim Doyle. I love it. Look at you. And CBS Sports senior writer Matt Norlander. You're all money. I love this. You love what you saw from Miami. They come back from a 13-point deficit. Your reaction's what?
The difference in the game was Texas was missing Dylan Dessou.
Yep.
And coming into this game, in my bracket that I filled out 2 weekends ago, I had Texas winning this regional until you find out that Dylan Dessou is not going to end up being a go. Second in the Big 12, Matt, in block shots, Dessou was nearly 1.5 per game. And the difference was Texas had no resistance down low. Miami shot over 50% from the floor, but they shot 66% from two-point range. Just shoot it at the rim. In close, alley-oops, layups, dunks. They kept on attacking. They got worked at the three-point line, but they got better shots and they got paint touches, and that was the difference in the game. Dessou was one of the reasons why they were there, and no Dessou is one of the reasons that they're not.
Matt, this was a tale of two halves, right? Jordan Miller was pacing the Miami guards in the first half. Isaiah Wong and Nigel Pack were both struggling in the first half, and it is Jordan Miller who picks up the slack, goes for 27 points on a perfect 7 for 7, 13 for 13 from the free throw line. He really, we lost Matt there for a second. He was really impressive. And this is the guy that we hadn't talked a whole lot about. We talked about Nigel Pack in the NIL. We talked about Isaiah Wong, ACC Player of the Year. And Jordan Miller, really, I guess their third option is the one that leads them to the Final Four.
Yeah, he played fantastic. He made all his free throws, which I know makes you really happy,
I love making – when you make free throws in March, it helps you win games.
It becomes imperative. Yeah, he was different. It was almost a Leitner-like performance because that's what Leitner did in that Kentucky game. 10 of 10 from the field, 10 of 10 from the line. He was absolutely perfect in this game. And this is the Hurricanes. They just keep coming at you. They have a ton of different guys. That's what made them so tough is they have so many different guys that could beat you on a particular night. Texas has the same thing. The difference was Texas didn't have that inside presence in the game. Miami did, and that was it. I mean, that was as simple as that. Texas shot better from three. They played better for a longer stretch of the game. But a late run and no resistance at the rim has the Hurricanes, the U, headed to Houston.
Yeah, look, they went on a long scoring drought, did Texas. They couldn't buy a bucket late in that second half there, and Miami took advantage. And, Matt, this is historic for many reasons here. Miami's never been to the Final Four. Jim Larrañaga, 17 years ago, leads who? George Mason to the Final Four. 12 seasons at Miami. You've spent time with Jim Larrañaga. You've talked about it on the podcast. When he first went there, you're hiring a 70-year-old to go to Miami. Is this really the right fit? And now after 12 seasons, it makes it all worth it.
Yeah, I know you know this, but he wasn't 70 when he got hired there.
I know that. I know. I'm aware of that, but I'm saying, an older coach. He was in his 60s. You know that's my guy. I'm sorry, I misspoke. He was hired in his 60s. He's now 73. He could be the oldest head coach to win a national championship.
He is just an incredible job. I spoke with Jim earlier this week. I also saw him last weekend in Albany, and he should be going to the Hall of Fame, and not the College Basketball Hall of Fame, although that's also in the books. I'm talking about the Naismith Memorial Hall of Fame. You take George Mason and Miami to their one and only Final Fours. And as I wrote earlier this week at CBSSports.com, it's not just that he's the best coach at both of those programs. It's that if you look at those programs as histories in men's college basketball, they have very little else in terms of prideful seasons. You know, he is overwhelmingly the best. And for his team to come back like this, Jordan Miller, Larrañaga told me a week ago after they got to the Sweet 16 that Jordan Miller is as important as anyone on this team, and what he does is so vital. You saw it there. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why Miami did this. One was the foul shooting. They were beyond clutch. Two, it was the resolve. Three, you had a few bad shots by Texas players at the wrong time. Brock Cunningham took a bad shot in that moment. That's not who you want taking that shot. I did think the box out call against Cunningham was the right call. It would have been Omir's fifth and out of the game. But no, I thought the officials, initially we thought it was on Omir. Then they changed it over. Miami just had answer after answer after answer. This team, this is what happened to a certain extent in the Drake game. First round of the tournament. Drake was on pace to win that game, and that was the first round. Miami outscored him 16-1 to move on to the second round. From Pack to Wong to Omir, Uga Poplar was, there were stretches in this game where Poplar was keeping Miami from going down more than, they were down 13 with 13 minutes to go.
Wow.
They were just hanging around just enough here, just enough there. Such an impressive performance. And oh, by the way, there's so many things to take from all of this. This means that the best conference in the country will not be represented in the Final Four because we have Conference USA from FAU, the Mountain West with SDSU, the Big East with UConn, and now the ACC with Miami, although this is a throwback to men of a certain age, and we are that. This is actually an old school Big East affair, but Miami a longtime member now of the ACC. And so here you have it. Also the first time since 1970. Look at that. UConn's got a title, but Miami doesn't. SDSU doesn't. And FAU sure heck doesn't. The last time we had a Final Four with at least 3 programs that did not own a national championship to their name, or had never been to a Final Four, was 1970. The last time we had 3 first-time Final Four participants in a Final Four. 2023, you have to go all the way back to 1970 before that. Credit to Jim Larinaga, but it has to be stated that Texas, this isn't an all-time GAC, but it is up there. It was a competitive game, but Texas not having the composure down the stretch, and no Dessou is also big on that. It takes 2 to tango. I think it's more of a comeback for Miami than a collapse of Texas, but I put that at about 70-30 in Miami's favor. Texas deserves plenty of blame as well.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.